With the High Republic's debut around the corner, we are finally getting more and more information on what this new exciting era of Star Wars is going to be. And one of these pieces of information that just dropped is actually highly intriguing because it ties to a very mysterious world we have only seen in recent comics. And what I'm specifically talking about is the elusive Elsewhere from the Rise of Kylo Ren comic run. And when I was reading that, I was very interested in learning more, or whatever I could, about that space station world and whatever it was. So thank you, Charles Soule, for reading my mind and then putting this into the current existing canon that will be coming out in, January 5th? I think that's when this book drops. So now we know that that station called Elsewhere is actually the Maxine Station, which is a reference to the Maxine warriors, which were brought into canon with Claudia Gray's novel Bloodline, which is fantastic. And as a quick reminder for what the Rise of Kylo Ren is, in case you never read that, it's basically just chronicling how Ben Solo turned into Kylo Ren. It's a pretty decent series, although it's only 4 comics, so I wish they expanded it a bit more, but it is what it is. And Elsewhere was where Ben Solo fled after the destruction of Luke Skywalker's academy. When Ben Solo arrives at the Maxine Station as we now know it, we see Supreme Leader Snoke before he's actually become the Supreme Leader, and he's living in this lush plant life environment. And it comes off like he's actually lived there for quite some time. And to be honest, it's an interesting choice of a station for the First Order to commandeer, because in that comic, on that station, Supreme Leader Snoke is talking with Brendol Hux. So knowing that Snoke lives there in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic seems to imply a more nefarious nature to the entire station, which has also been implied in the upcoming book Into the Dark, which is also written by Claudia Gray. The description for Into the Dark goes on to tell us that the Jedi from the High Republic encounter the station after being flung out of hyperspace due to that great disaster that we all keep hearing about. When they enter this ancient station, strange things begin to start happening, and this will lead to some form of an investigation of the truth behind what this place really is. And then this ominously ends with the idea that this story could end in some tragedy. And I believe that this book will also reveal more of the history of the ancient Maxine warriors. So what does all of this mean? Well, I think we are finally getting back to that earlier idea that Lucasfilm put forth in 2014, where the comics, the books, and the movies will all tell a interconnected story. You know, everything will reinforce the other. And for a while, it seemed like that's exactly what was going on with Aftermath, Bloodline, The Force Awakens, even the books leading up to The Last Jedi, but then it kind of fell apart, so it looks like they're just kind of going back to that promise of just making this all very cohesive. And to be honest, even as a fan of 2/3 of the sequel trilogy, why not aid what currently exists by exploring questions and answers we never got with the TV shows and other books and other comics? The Clone Wars and various novels aided the prequel trilogy immensely, and I believe the same would work for the sequels, if this is what's kind of going on. Now, while this could also just be an Easter egg for the sake of connectivity, I think Lucasfilm is carefully placing the seeds for not only moments in the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, but also diving into some of the whys behind what happened 30 years later after Return of the Jedi with the sequels. So if you can make something make a bit more sense, why not do it? That's kind of how I'm seeing this. And to be honest, like I keep saying, I just want to know more about that station. What is going on with it? Why is it so creepy yet beautiful and full of lush life? Like, what is it going to be like when these ancient Jedi go on that station? So what do you think about this information? I know a lot of people keep spouting that somehow new canon and everything is being retconned and erased and thrown into some vortex void from Rebels, I guess, but it doesn't seem to be happening, and what really actually seems to be happening is fleshing out the areas that they probably should have fleshed out in the movies themselves with other mediums. And to be frank, this whole interconnective thing worked so well for season 2 of The Mandalorian that I think that the High Republic will also follow suit and do a really great job. So that does it for today's video. As always, thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and AT-AT is signing off.